Greetings! It is I, Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It is time to continue my expose on the lands, legends, planes, and planeswalkers of Magic the Gathering, where I take each of these aspects of the lore of Magic the Gathering and go over their history and details so you understand more about the storylines, the information, the depths of the lore of Magic the Gathering. Alright, so today I have a new plane for you, Innistrad. Innistrad is influenced by a lot of 18th, 19th century Gothic America, Western Europe. It's got that feel to it. It is populated by humans. Now these humans are basically plagued by classic monsters. Ghosts, werewolves, vampires, zombies. These creatures plague humanity throughout the history of Innistrad. As of late, and basically the sets of Innistrad and Shadows over Innistrad, demons have also haunted Innistrad, and more, which I will talk about. Now, Innistrad is basically circled by a single silver moon, which has great importance. The moon helps determine the seasons of Innistrad. Also, its influence can influence the hunting patterns of a lot of the dark monsters within Innistrad, either driving them to kill more or to kill less. Now, there is a single religion in amongst humanity, the major religion of it, the Church of Avacian. The Church of Avacian takes its name from the powerful Archangel Avacian, who is the leader of the church and basically its symbol of hope. The Church of Avacian helps lead the fight against the darkness and beat it back to protect humanity from the creatures that dwell deep within the night. Now, of course, during the first block that showed us Innistrad, Avacian disappeared. And in the place of this power vacuum, demons and cults of demons worshippers like the Skirtstag showed up. Also, a lot of the monsters of Innistrad became unchecked. It wasn't until the Hell Vault was shattered and Avacia and the demons she had sealed within there were basically freed that she returned. And when she returned, she rallied her troops. She fought back the darkness. She defeated many of the creatures. Her troops also eliminated many of the cults of demon worshippers and drove them to the fringe, destroying them or driving them deep into hiding. Now, the plane itself is home to many planeswalkers, including the infamous vampiric planeswalker Sorin Markov, who happens to have actually been the creator of Avacian. An interesting fact there. But there are other planeswalkers who are native to Innistrad. Now, the planeswalker Nihir, she sought revenge against Sorin Markov, so she summoned the eldrazi titan Emrakul to Innistrad. This resulted in much corruption and death of the world. The Archangel Avacian went mad, and it resulted in her death. It resulted in great destruction and new horrors, eldrazi horrors driving upon the land. The Archangel Sigrada has now taken over the protection of humanity with the remaining angels that remained sane. Not all went mad under Avacian. Those that have remained sane have become a force of good, basically still protecting humanity. And Emrakul herself was banished and basically sealed within the Silver Moon by the help of the Gatewatch and Tamio. So that has actually happened, that Emrakul is now sealed within the moon of Innistrad, and a new archangel has taken over and humanity has survived. But now there is more creatures to the world too. Horrors now exist upon here, leftovers of the influence of Emrakul. Of course, this time period brought forth more cult worship, including remnants of those demon cults or versions of them coming back. Cults of Madness, cults of Emrakul, they all showed up during this time to replace this power vacuum that was occurring when Avacian went mad. Even those that worshipped her madness came about too. Innistrad is divided into 4 provinces. Gavany is basically the main province of humanity. Here was the center of the Avacian religion. Here's where the largest cities and towns are. Kresig is basically large groups of farmland, surrounded by dangerous and deadly forest where a lot of werewolves and other similar beasts do exist within. Stensia is a dark and relatively unknown land where the vampires rule over, and Nephilinia is basically the coastal region where a lot of trade and ghosts kind of haunt over. Now there are 5 major tribes to Innistrad. Of course, there are the humans, who are primarily white and green creatures, many of which end up being basically monster hunters. It's a major employment other than basically being a villager. Now, spirits, they take the colors of blue and white, and they're called geists. They take the form of either benevolent protectors or horrible ghosts that will haunt you. So spirits do come in two forms even too. Zombies are blue or black. Blue are called scabs and are actually representation of basically creatures created through mad science, basically Frankenstein's monsters. Black are called ghouls and are representative of traditional necromancy type zombies, things that are summoned dead. Vampires here are red and black. Now, vampires, it's important to note, there are 4 main bloodlines which control Innistrad, at least as of the Innistrad block. Edgar Mardukov, Sorin's grandfather, was the one that basically created vampirism at the behest of a demon in order to save Sorin. The result of this is the plague of vampirism upon Innistrad, and it spread far, great beyond the Mardukovs. They're only one of the original 12 bloodlines. Of those original 12 bloodlines, 3 have completely died off, 5 have become minor bloodlines there aren't many members of, and then there are these 4. As of the arising of Emrakul, these have been devastated. Nahir devastated the Mardukov bloodline. 2 of the bloodlines were basically destroyed by Emrakul. Only 1 remains largely intact, and that was the one that actually united with humanity to help fight back the hordes of monsters that fought against Emrakul. And this included the remnants of the Mardukovs, because they are devastated, but they are not as devastated as the other 2 that kind of fell to Emrakul. The Mardukovs still exist to a degree, and bonded with the Voldarans under Olivia to basically help fight against Emrakul with humanity. So that the Voldarans are the one vampire bloodline that truly exists here now. Finally, the werewolves are green and red. They've always been savage creatures which have long since hunted humanity, things that represent both beasts and man. Now, when Avasia basically disappeared, the werewolves became stronger. They spread their numbers. They spread greater. When she returned, she used the curse mute and turned a great number of them into Wolfren, basically helper protectors of humanity. There were ones that were unaffected by the curse mute and went into hiding, basically drew back from humanity and the ways that they were in order to hide themselves to a degree, of which many of the werewolves are savage anyway. When Avasia went mad, the curse mute broke. Many of the Wolfren returned to their savage ways. There are a group of them, the Silverbacks, which have remained virtuous protectors of humanity, a virtuous Howlpack. But a great number of Howlpacks were devastated not only by the hunts, but by Emrakul now too. So the werewolves have gone on the decline also. So you can see, at first, we had humanity going onto the ropes because of the monsters and the disappearance of Avasia. When she returned, she fought back, but humanity had taken great hits. When Avasia went mad, they took more hits. Then Emrakul happened. All the races of Innistrad have taken great damage, but they all survived to a degree. Some of them will always survive, our zombies and spirit friends, but the other 3, they have been devastated but remain. And of course humanity still has their protectors, still has their heroes. The vampires still have a seat of power, and the werewolves will always find their savage edges, both on the side of humanity and against them. And that's it for today. I talked about Innistrad, a gothic, horrible place, filled with monsters that would hunt you deep into the night. Humanity is the only race here. It is the first time humanity was a true tribe that you could play with in Magic. But there were monsters there too. Great monsters. Zombies, ghosts, vampires, werewolves, things that would hunt humans. Through 2 storylines, humanity has managed to hold on in Innistrad. Great destructions, great problems that plagued them and caused damage to the overall plane. But it survives. Emrakul is sealed. There is still an angel to protect humanity, though Avasia herself is gone. Sorin Markov is sealed with much of his family. And the other planeswalkers, well, they are spread or dead. Only some strength remains in the plane itself. but this strength is a deep beating heart. Humanity continues on, despite the great destruction, despite the devastation. The vampires continue on, despite most of their bloodlines being basically either eliminated almost completely or driven to the very strings of existence. Horrors still patrol the land, adding into everything here. And werewolves are still on the fringes there, though many have been devastated too. So the land has had great destruction, but the horrors and the humanity both survive. The horrors of the creatures that were there versus the horrors of the creatures that came. But the nightmares of Emrakul and the Eldrazi. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, anything you think I left out, please leave in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. It shows support the channel, the Empire, the work I do. If you want to show some extra support, you can always check out my Patreon. Link description below. There's some great rewards there. It helps to grow and improve the channel. If you want to see some other great Magic the Gathering content, I can recommend my Friends of the Multiverse, Card Bazaar, They Said We Said, and Tasty Snackies. They do great Magic the Gathering content. I can always recommend them. But regardless, until the next time, I bid you farewell.